Are you dreaming of moving to England? Hollywood has definitely romanticized those cobblestone streets littered with double-decker buses and neighborhood pubs pouring pints of rich ale in cities with medieval relics from centuries of monarchs. Now, while there's no shortage of reasons of why you'd want to make a move across the pond, that fantasy doesn't really stack up to the reality in terms of your visa options. England is actually one of the least viable options for Americans looking to move to Europe. But in this video, I'm going to go over everything you need to know to help you make your English dreams a reality. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Seppi, rhymes with Peppy from SheHitRefresh.com, and I help women aged 30 and over break free from a life of routine to finally move abroad or travel the world long term. And that's exactly what I did. Back in 2015, when I was 35 years old, I made the move from Texas to Spain. It has now been 7 years, I am 42 years old, and I've got to say it was the best decision of my 30s. I want to thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and on this channel, I talk about moving abroad specifically for US citizens. And I'd love to invite you to like this video, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any new move abroad content. England is as rich in history as it is in culture, and along with the benefit of it being an English-speaking country, that makes it an attractive destination for relocation. If you've got England on your mind, keep on watching because I'm going to go over the best places to live, health insurance, cost of living, how to get a visa to move there, that million-dollar question, and spoiler alert, it's not so easy, and so much more. But before we dive in, I just want to give my weekly shout out. And this week's shout out goes to Jay-Z Morris, who commented on my video, How to Move Abroad with Pets. And Jay-Z says, thanks for the checklist, especially the reminder about the 21-day waiting period for rabies vaccines. Jay-Z, thank you so much for watching. And yes, if you're moving abroad with pets, there are definitely some boxes that you have to tick before you can actually make that move. So be sure to check out my video to get all the ins and outs of what you're gonna have to do. Now, if you'd like to get a shout out here on my channel, just drop a comment or question below, and you never know, you might be the next shout out that I choose. All right, so let's jump into everything you need to know about moving to England from the US. So let's take it from the top. First, let's talk about terminology. What is the difference between England, Great Britain versus the UK? England itself is just one country that makes up Great Britain. And Great Britain refers to the island where England, Wales, and Scotland are located. On a separate island, you have Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. So when we mention the United Kingdom, what we're talking about is the island of Great Britain that has England, Wales, and Scotland, as well as Northern Ireland on the island next door. So I hope that clarifies a little bit of the terminology here. All right, on to the next question. How long can you stay in England without a visa? All right, I want to just pause for a moment and just talk about the terminology again. I mentioned England. If you want to get a visa to go to England, you're actually getting a visa for the United Kingdom, right? Because England is within the United Kingdom. All right, so if you're looking to go to England for an extended amount of time, it's really important to understand your options, especially since the British Border Patrol tends to be stricter and more regulated than most of Europe. I actually experienced this when I went to England, not to move, but to visit friends. The Border Patrol really did ask a lot of questions when I was trying to enter the country, more than any country that I can remember. The good news is, as a US citizen, you are automatically granted a tourist visa, which allows you to stay in England for up to 6 months. So that's really incredible because unlike in Europe where US citizens are limited to a 90-day stay within a 180-day period, you can stay in England for a lot longer, for 6 months. So it's important to note on this tourist visa, you cannot do any paid or unpaid work, and this includes remote work. Now, are a lot of people going to England on a tourist visa and working remotely? Yes. but legally you are not allowed to. It's highly likely if you're trying to enter England on a tourist visa that Border Patrols may ask you for financial statements just to show that you're gonna be able to support yourself. They're gonna wanna know your proof of accommodation, where you're staying, and of course, your outbound flight or your return ticket to know when you are going to be leaving the country. But saying all of this, going to England on a tourist visa is just a great way to get your feet wet and get a feel for England before committing to a lifelong change if you're looking to move there. All right, so the next question is, how hard is it for an American to move to England? All right, you want the hard truth? It's very hard. I don't want to sugarcoat anything and give anyone false hope, but where there is a will, there is a way. But just know that qualifying for a visa for England or the UK is very difficult, and also tough immigration laws just means that the visa process can be expensive and also very meticulous. If you're lucky enough to be going to England for an extended stay through your school or through your work, then they will probably be doing all the paperwork for you, which is great. But if you're doing the paperwork on your own, it is highly recommended to consult a UK immigration lawyer just so you know that you are ticking off all the right boxes before you actually apply. While it is very difficult, there is a little bit of a silver lining to this thing called Brexit. So with the recent developments of Brexit, that has actually created a skilled worker shortage in the UK, and that has inspired lawmakers to expand on opportunities for work visas. So if there was ever a time for you to try to shoot your shot, now is your chance to try to find employment in England. Question number 4, and this is probably what you've been waiting for, is what are my visa options for moving to England? All right, so outside of the tourist visa, there's something called a standard visitor visa, and this visa will allow you to temporarily move to the UK for up to 6 months. So yes, the tourist visa does allow you to go to England for 6 months, but with the standard visitor visas, this actually allows you to conduct permitted business activities in the UK for up to 6 months. This is a great option if you're doing an internship in the UK or you have a temporary work relocation there. But if you are watching this video, you are probably looking for a way to stay in England for more than 6 months. So the next visa option that you have is the skilled worker visa, formerly known as the Tier 2 visa. This visa is the one that's going to let you live and work in the UK for several years. Now, in order to obtain this visa, you're going to have a UK-based company offer you a work visa sponsorship. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know how difficult it is to get a country in Europe or abroad to sponsor your work visa as a US citizen. So this is going to be the same case. This is going to be very difficult to obtain, but not impossible. And last, if you are a prominent business owner or an expert in your field, you may also be able to qualify for permanent residency through the self-sponsorship visa and global talent visa. However, I do want to reiterate that England/the UK is still one of the toughest countries for US citizens to crack when we're talking about obtaining a visa to live there. So if you are open to more viable options, please check out my digital book, I'm Outta Here, an American's ultimate visa guide to living in Europe, where I break down the 18 easiest countries to move to in Europe for US citizens and include details on over 50 viable visa options. So you can click that link below and grab your copy of I'm Outta Here. Let's move on to the next question. So number 5 is, what kind of jobs are there for Americans looking to move to England? So the good news is, remember that skilled workers visa that I mentioned? Well, there are over 8,000 jobs that are eligible for this visa. So I've included a link for you below, so go check that out. And these jobs range across a vast variety of industries, so it's likely that you'll be able to find a role in something similar that you're already doing in the US. So check out that list below. And I believe on that list, you may be able to find also the list of companies that are open to sponsoring US citizens. All right, on to the next question. What is the cost of living in England? Well, living in England is not cheap, so it's important to be prepared, come with savings, but also know that your savings may not take you as far as you thought in the beginning. So just to give you some figures, the estimated monthly cost for a family of 4 in England is about £4,000, and right now that breaks down to about $4,700 US, and an individual can get by on a monthly income of about £2,000, so that's about $2,300. So similar to the US and like anywhere, if you want to live in a big city, you may have to consider getting a roommate to lower your monthly costs. And of course, if you're living in a more suburban or rural area, you're going to find more affordable prices there. A perk to living in England is that a car is not necessary in most places, so that's an expense that you can get rid of. So there's more savings there, and you can get by in most places with public transportation or by bike. All right, the next question is, what are the best places to live in England? And since England is a small country, no matter if you're living in the big city or in a rural area, you're still gonna have a lot of access to ample travel and adventures and all of your modern necessities. So let's start with the most famous city in England, London. So there's a saying out there that a man who is tired of London is tired of life. I mean, in London, there are endless things to do there, and it is known as one of the greatest metropolises in the world, making it a dream destination for a lot of people looking to move abroad, especially to a bigger city. So London is a big city with many different boroughs that have communities from all over the world. Not only is it super diverse, but it's home to numerous world-class universities, restaurants, bars, museums, art galleries, music venues, theaters, and I could go on and on and on. If you love that feeling of feeling like you are in the center of the world, then London is a great city for you. So another city to consider is Brighton. So Brighton is located just south of London, and it's a quaint yet lively seaside city. Brighton is known for its inclusive and progressive culture, but it's also a quintessential English city with a buzzing culture and welcoming community. And it's actually an incredibly popular destination for expats who want to live next to the beach but don't want to be so far away from London. Next up is Bristol. So if you're looking for a city with a vibrant creative atmosphere, then maybe Bristol is for you. It's home to many amazing universities with a stunning surrounding landscape. And if you're looking to work in the creative or IT industries, then maybe Bristol is a place that you should check out. And last but not least is Manchester. So located in the northwest of England, Manchester is frequently considered one of the most livable cities in England. It's a major metropolis with a rich heritage, and while it's home to many world-class industries, it still maintains an affordable cost of living. All right, and that is it. Now again, while England may not be the easiest country to move to for US citizens, it is not impossible. So I hope this video helped you get an idea of what to consider if you're dreaming of moving to England. And remember, if you're looking to move to a more viable country in Europe, then please check out my digital book, I'm Outta Here, an American's Ultimate Visa Guide to Living in Europe. It covers the 18 easiest countries to move to in Europe and goes over 50 plus viable visa options to help you make your move to Europe a reality. And if you're a woman age 30 and over, please join my Facebook group, She Hit Refresh, where you can meet over 10,000 women just like you who want to move abroad and radically change their life. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any future Move Abroad content.